Today, we are rebuilding Parma, one of the former biggest clubs in Italy. During the early and late 90s and early 2000s, they were constantly battling for a Serie A trophy, but they never actually ended up lifting it. In 1997, the best they did was come second. They've also never won the Champions League. They have won the European Cup Winners' Cup in 1993, and have got two equivalent to Europa Leagues. But today, the goal is to win the Serie A, and of course, to win the Champions League using Moneyball here with Parma. In present day, Parma are currently sitting down in the Serie B, the second tier of Italian football, which is quite the fall from grace. So it's a bit of a fallen giant Moneyball rebuild, which is also very, very exciting. In the season preview, they are one of the better teams. They are predicted to come first in the league, 4 to 6 favourites, ahead of the likes of Palermo, relegated sides of Cremonese, Sampdoria and Spezia. So we are a very decent side. And actually, when we look through the squad, there is some fantastic players in here, and especially some fantastic young players, just like fantastic Australian centre-back Alessandro Segati, who's got 5-star potential and is always very, very good. Great consistency and looks absolutely brilliant. We've got Adrian Benzeziak as well, the Polish striker slash left winger, who this season will be out on left wing. Very consistent, but doesn't like big matches, but hopefully he can be great for this season. Simon Som, a Swiss CDM at 22 years of age, who is consistent and does love big matches and does look very, very good. And hopefully we can go ahead and see what he can do. And the star man for me is Yoann Bonny, the French striker, 6'2", very, very good on the ball, very good finishing, composure and pace as well. And as a big man at 6'2", I'm excited to see what he can do. The tactic we're going to be using for the majority of this rebuild, if not the whole rebuild, till we win the Champions League here with Parma, is going to be a 5-2-3. Yes, I want to use that Italian style of play. You know, nice and defensive, but also good going forward. 3 centre-backs, 2 wide centre-backs on defend in Ciccardi and Valenti, with a ball-playing defender on defend in the middle, on cover actually in the middle as Del Prato, with Chicozola in goal. An attacking right wing-back of Koulibaly, and an attacking left wing-back in Ansaldi. Yes, that Ansaldi at the left wing-back, with Hernani and Som in CDM as a ball winner and deep-lying playmaker, with 2 advanced forwards in attack on the left and right-hand side of Dennis Mann and Benegiac, with Bonny up front as an advanced forward. There is still some very good backups here, and someone that certainly is going to get a hell of a lot of game time is Adrian Bernabe. We've got Mihaila as well, and Balog and Willian Cyprian. Someone does a really quick touch on Bernabe. I can't believe he's not in the first team here instead of Hernani. This guy is fantastic. 22 years of age. He's been at some decent clubs at this time. Barcelona, Manchester City, and now Parma, where he is becoming a superstar. He is only 22 years of age, Spanish, and has potential to be a leading Serie A midfielder. Yes, and he's here at Parma to start things off, so I'm sure we'll never see him become that good, and he'll leave us nice and early, but I'll try and remember to keep tabs on him on his fantastic career. Finances-wise at Parma, we have £13 million in the bank, which isn't too bad, and debts-wise, only £4 million as well, so we're actually looking quite good in terms of money. Club info-wise, developing wonder kids is going to be difficult. Only a 5-star silver in youth recruitment, 3-star youth facilities, and 4-star training facilities, and of course only a 3-star reputation as a Serie B side. So let's get into this first season. I'm expecting it to be fairly easy. I want to absolutely dominate a league and get us into the Serie A nice and quick. And that's exactly what we did. 85 points. We absolutely smashed it this season. I'm not going to mess about with the whole, schedule and bits for this season, because we were just absolutely dominant, as we were expected to be. 26 wins, 7 draws, and 5 losses. A 45 goal difference. 85 points. We were, 16 points clear of the second place in Modena. So we absolutely dominated. And in terms of the team overview, we scored the most goals on 76. We conceded the least goals on 30. Possession-wise, we were down in 7th on 53%. But most points per game, as we look at our data hub as well, you can see just how dominant we were. Over 2 goals per game on average, conceding just 0.79. An absolutely dominant first season. I'm not going to waste too much time going through how good we were this season, because it's obvious. We're Parma in Serie B. We are way too good to be here, and on FM, we can go ahead and get out of it nice and quick. In the Italian Cup, we got 3rd rounded by Atalanta, which, I'm not upset about. We played against a very good side. In the preliminary round, we weren't involved. First round, we beat Udinese 2-1, a Serie A side, which is very good to get a victory there. Second round, we beat Brianza on penalties, 2-2 on penalties, that was. And then third round, a 2-1 loss to Atlanta, who are a very, very good side and finished 7th in the Serie A. Inter Milan were winners of that one. AC Milan in second, Napoli in third, Juve in fourth, Hellas Verona, Salernitana and Cagliari all getting relegated. But this is where the Moneyball thing now starts, because Moneyball wise, we've got £2 million in the bank, £200,000 in wage budget. But a lot of our players are now interested in leaving, and everyone wants them. We have got some very high value. Adrian Bernabé, £12.75 million, 19 games this season, 4 goals and 1 assist, but he's already maxed out that value and is wanted by Southampton, Marseille and Freiburg. So it's going to be difficult to keep hold of him. And again, it's the point of Moneyball. When someone reaches their value, we have to go ahead and get rid. And this season, obviously, he has got, he hasn't actually got a release clause. I thought he did, but he doesn't. So I imagine we'll try and keep hold of him, but if anything offers coming like that, as a brand new Serie A side, we have to say goodbye. Simon Som, currently no interest, but £9 million value after a 7.06 average rating season. And Yoann Bonney, a fantastic season, scoring 27 goals and getting 2 assists in 34 games. He is wanted by a whole host of sides: Sunderland, Monaco, Lille, Bochum, Espanyol and Sevilla. It's going to be hard to keep hold of him. He's got 5-star potential and 4-star recoverability. Alessius Zagratarius actually ended up playing as our left wing back over Christian and Saudi, and I'm very glad he was. 13 assists and 5 goals at 23 years of age. Again, the £7 million value wanted by a whole host of Premier League sides. Del Prato, a young Belgian centre-back, is wanted by Espanyol. He has got a value of around £5 million. So it's going to be interesting to see who we can keep hold of and who does leave the club. It's going to be difficult to keep hold of everyone. I imagine a lot of players are going to leave. It's just a case of seeing what we've got at the end of it and seeing if we can come back as one of the better teams in the Serie A. I'm hoping to sort of next season get us hopefully into a position where we can compete and hopefully get to mid-table. I don't want to be fighting relegation. We are a very good side. We were dominant this year. We were favourites this year by far. We shouldn't be going up and coming straight back down. We should be looking to settle into mid-table nice and quick. And while we're talking about that as well, how long do you think it's going to take us to win the Serie A, number 1, the Italian Cup, number 2, and the Champions League, number 3? Remember, this rebuild does not end until we win the Champions League, and it is all while using Moneyball as well. You can see we have got the Moneyball bits all set up in our scouting. When we look at player search history, we are looking at every single player here using the Moneyball searches. We've got it all set up. I've got all the Excel spreadsheets. If you're interested in how to use Moneyball, I'm not going to go through and show you exactly how I found every single player. And they are all from the lists here, and throughout the season I get nice some players, loads of them scouted, but I'm not going to go through and show you exactly how we do it. If you want to see that, there is a video on the channel that is going to be linked up there. Make sure to go ahead and watch that one. But let's get into our first season of transfers here with Parma. Well, there was certainly some outgoings this summer, and we're going to quick fire get through them. Hernani left to Leicester for £4.3 million. Anthony Partibio left to Levante for 3.1. Valentin Mihaila left to Sheffield United for 2.6. Gennaro Coutinho left to Cagliari for 2.7. Jordan Osorio left to Al Shabab for 1.8. Willian Ciprian left to Alaves for 1.3. Elias Cobalt to Empoli for 1.1. Anton Hainaut to Al Shabab for 1.1. Estevez to Al Tawun for 850k, and the rest, a few players leaving on frees and loans, etc. Eventually rising up to £19.25 million. And there was a lot of players there that did leave, but also a lot of people that stayed. So we did have to bring some players in, and we did spend all of the money we got, and we spent £21 million. And our first signing was a brand new left winger in Sebastian Nanasi, Swedish international. This guy looks very, very good, and just 22 years of age, has made his debut for Sweden, is consistent, very well-rounded as well, can play pretty much anywhere. Cam, right wing striker, left wing back, CDM, a very good versatile player, which is very nice to have at the club, especially in these Moneyball rebuilds, because they always end up having a very good value. So Sebastian Nanasi is number 1, and second up is Oscar Sivertsen. I have signed him in a few rebuilds now, and that's because he's so cheap and he is so good. He's so quick, his finishing is great, his determination is great. This is quite a difference when we started him last time. I think the last time we had him was at Partizan in Serbia, so this is going to be a much bigger test for him, seeing if he can do it on the big stage in the top 5 leagues. Can Oscar Sivertsen dominate? He cost us £4.3 million, but he's had back-to-back seasons of over a 7 average rating, so hopefully for us he can be fantastic. And next up is a signing from Argentina, and it is Juan Sforza. This guy is at Newell's Old Boys when he start up, and he is 22 years of age. Very well-rounded stats. Everything is in the blue pretty much. A few stats that are very necessary are like corners and crossing. He's a centre mid. I don't need to be doing that. He is very, very good. Consistent, great pace, great finishing as well. Can also fill in a striker if we need him to, which is very helpful. And at a bargain price of just £5.5 million. So happy to get him in. And another CDM brought in is Lyndon Salahi. This guy is 25 years of old. From Rekia, he is consistent. He likes big matches. And again, very good in the stats he needs to be as a ball midfielder on support. He is going to be absolutely brilliant. Fantastic marking, tackling, and passing as well. So get him on the ball, get him moving it. Very good. He's already a decent Serie A player as well, which is very handy. He is also consistent. He loves big matches and was £2.4 million. What an absolute bargain for someone of that quality. And £875,000 has been signed, and a brand new bargain as well, as our backup right wing back is Alexander Jensen, signed from IF Bromkonjopia in Sweden, I believe is how that's said. He is consistent. He likes big matches. You know I love them two things. Also going along with the Moneyball, that helps because if they're consistent and they play well, when they get into that good groove, and obviously that's how they get above the 7 average rating, so we can sign them. When they get into that good groove, they are obviously going to keep that good playing going. So he's very, very good. Great crossing, determination, pace. I'm very happy with him for £875,000. And our final signing is not £875,000. It's £5.5 million. Is Arnaud Comas, signed from Basel to come in and be our best centre-back. He is dark green in consistency and big matches, so I'm very excited to bring him in. He's already a good Serie A player and is surely going to come in here and be, well, you know, our best centre-back. I'm absolutely sure of it. £5.5 million, but 13 heading, 13 marking, 15 tackling, 14 determination, 24 years of old, which is fantastic for a young centre-back. We don't need to be much younger than that because he has now sort of, you know, started to play some serious games in Switzerland. 28 last season with 7.05. At one of the better sides, so can he sort of develop into playing at a backup side? Hopefully he can. We are playing this 5-back system yet again. It's Chicazola in goal, Del Prato, Shikati, Comas as the back three, with Koulibaly at right wing back, Zagatarius at left wing back, Bernabe and Som sticking around somehow in CDM, which is great, with Dennis Mann, Nanasi and Johan Boni also sticking around at being our striker. The backups looking like Martin Tuk, Balog, Diego Turi, Valenti, Jensen, Kamara, Salahi, Decharia, Savortza, Begic and Oscar Sirat Sivertson to be our backup striker this season. I will mention if anyone comes from the youth academy, they're not going to be a lot because it's so bad, but I will, you know, shout them out if anyone does. I think there's 2 here. Diego Turi, I think, is, and he looks decent, but never even become anything, just a sort of squad filler. And I think Decharia is as well. No, he's not. He's a 30-year-old. Absolute disrespect from me, but he's in the team and hopefully he can develop into something, but we shall see. Let's get into Season 2. Obviously just the Serie A and the Italian Cup to contend with. Season preview-wise, 16th, just above relegation, which is nice. We're not expected to get relegated, so like I said, hopefully this season around this sort of 13th, 12th would be very, very good. It does look there's quite a big gap between us and Salento, so maybe it's going to be difficult, but getting in that sort of Bologna to Genoa range is going to be where we're aiming for, so let's get into Season 2. This season started better than I could have ever expected. Victories against Frosinone and a draw against Napoli to kick things off in August was fantastic, with 4 wins against Atalanta and Salento, a loss to Bologna and a win to Empoli, followed by back-to-back victories against Genoa and Lazio. 1 loss in our opening 7 games. A fantastic start to the season. Of course, things were going to fall off. A loss against AC Milan, draws against Torino and Fiorentina, before victories against Udinese and Moderna, and then 3 1-0 losses in a row. All very tight games. Sassuolo, Brianza and Sampdoria all losing to, before beating AS Roma 1-0, a loss to Inter Milan, a draw to Juventus, a loss to Napoli, a win against Frosinone, and a loss to Atalanta. The first half of the season was very, very good. We were beating teams around us, losing to the big boys, which is pretty much to be expected, but also having a few very big scalps in there, beating Roma, drawing to Napoli. You know, we're doing very, very well. I'm very, very happy. February then kicked on and it was a 1 and 2 draws and a loss in that, followed by 4 losses in a row in March, playing against some big sides, as mentioned though, Lazio, AC Milan, Torino and Fiorentina. 2 wins, 2 losses in April, winning against Moderna and Brianza, losing to Udinese and Sassuolo, followed by an unbeaten May, including victories over Inter Milan, Juventus, draws against Roma and Sampdoria, meant we were sitting in 10th place in the Serie A. I am very, very happy with how this first season has gone. We have made big strides. We were predicted to come down here on Genoa, 42 points, minus 14 goal difference. Well, look at us, mid-table, positive 4 goal difference, 43 points, so, you know, 11 points clear of them, 15 wins, 15 losses, and 8 draws. A fantastic first season in the Serie A. And what's possibly even more unexpected is the fact we scored lots of goals as well. 7th place here, we're playing a 5-back system, and we're a dominating side. 58 goals, 7th place in the whole leagues. Now, of course, it does mean we concede quite a few. whereas AC Milan just don't concede any. 15 goals conceded all season is incredibly impressive. And possession-wise, we are looking to sit back and counter the big sides, and that's exactly what we've done this season. And I'm very happy with how things went. Now, Italian Cup, sadly, this time we got third rounded again, this time to Brianza, also a 1-0 loss, so nothing to really touch on there, which is a bit frustrating, but a very good season in the Serie A. Our stand-up performance, of course, Johan Boni was brilliant, and his value is now getting a bit too high for my liking. I think he's going to get poached pretty quickly, as is Dennis the Man, Romanian winger, 13 goals and 6 assists, again, £17 million in value. It's going to be hard to keep him with us. New signing Nanasi with 12 goals in 41 games was also brilliant, and Woyo Koulibaly with 11 assists, a 7.04 average rating, was also brilliant. Zagatarius was great, Bernabe was great, still that £12.75 million value, still wanted by Al Ali now in Saudi Arabia. I'm sure he'll take that because he's only on 30k a week here. That probably 10 times to 300k if he does go ahead and leave us. But a very, very successful season in terms of brand new signings. Lyndon Salahi was a great backup DM for us this year. Arnau Comas, just 7 starts, but still progressing in that centre-back role. Cyril Sivertson, a goal and an assist, 28 games off the bench. Savorza, 28 games off the bench. Really, it was the main players that here at Parma that, dominated this season. The signings come in and we're backup rotation options. Fair enough, they can hopefully progress into being starters eventually, especially as now I imagine a lot of our players have a lot more interest in them because we're now in the Serie A. We're not a Serie B side anymore. We are now a Serie A club, and we're going to hopefully be pushing for Europe next season unless everyone gets stolen off us. I mean, a very good start to the rebuild, though. 2 seasons in, we're already mid-table in the Serie A. But of course, we knew that wasn't going to last for long because everyone's left. 20 million for Adrian Bernabe to Al Ali. Dennis Mann's gone and joined him in Saudi at Al Nassr for 15 million. Zagatarius, our fantastic young left wing back, has gone to Newcastle for 9 million. Del Prato to Fiorentina, £6.5 million. £50 million raised. We have been absolutely robbed of some of our superstar players. We have managed to keep hold of the likes of Johan Boni, which is brilliant. But Bernabe and Dennis Mann are certainly going to be big misses this season, and £50 million raised means we could go ahead and put that back into the club. We have spent 23, so not all of it, offshore, because it is Moneyball Rebuild. We're here to make some profit. So signing number 1 is for £450,000, and it is Adrian Bajarani, an Albanian centre-back who is an international, which is good to see, consistent, likes big matches, and last season at Benfica, in his 11 games, got over a 7 average rating, which is brilliant. He looks very, very good, and I'm excited to see what he can do for just £455,000. £3.7 million has been sent on a brand new CDM, Marco Stamic. He is a New Zealand 32 cap international. Again, loves big matches, very good physical stats, very good mentally, and is just 23 years of age. He cost us £3.7 million and got 9 assists last season in the Serbian league, so hopefully he can do that for us as well. A free signing of Tommy Doyle after being released from Manchester City is a clever piece of business. He just looks absolutely brilliant and was way too good to turn down. He was really good on loan at Wolves in the Premier League a few seasons ago, so I thought it was still good enough, sort of fit in that Moneyball approach. A gap in the market, a good young player to bring in. Hopefully he can be great with 16 determination as well. Obviously as well, we're having to keep an eye on these non-EU slots. So a brand new goalkeeper in Stefano Terrati has come in, and Chiquarazola has left. Argentinian out, Italian in. One of the big things with Italy is the non-EU slots. We're going to get stung by them at some point in this rebuild. Trust me, because I sort of forgot a few times. But Terrati looks great. He is very consistent. He does like big matches and was great at Sassuolo last season, and Frosinone the season before that as well. And I'm excited to see what he can do for £7 million, and a big signing in Benjamin Dominguez from Gimnasia, £10 million, but a very exciting young winger. 123 games in the senior men's game over in Argentina. It's now time for him to take the step to the Serie A. He's consistent, great dribbling, great physical stats. Hopefully he can be good here. And our final signing, when we completely ran out of money, was Jesus Vasquez, a loan signing from Valencia, which, as I've mentioned a few times in Moneyball, I don't like to do. But when we can go ahead and get an optional future fee of a 23-year-old who's Spanish for £5.5 million, I'm going to give it a go and see if we can bring him in. Again, very good young player, has played a lot of games for Valencia in the last couple of seasons, been very, very good, just under that 7 average rating, was on the loan list. We had no money and needed someone to come in and dominate, and he can do that. And he improves the team as well, because now at the start 11, we've got a nice new young goalkeeper in goal in Tarati. Shakati, Komas and Bajrami as our back three, with Koulibaly and Vasquez the two wing backs, Stamanic and Som as our two DMs, Dominguez, Nanasi and Bonnie as our front three. We have made a slight tweak to the tactic. Now we are in the Serie A. Don't know if I mentioned it last season. We've gone to inside forwards on support, so hopefully they sit in these sort of roles in here where the wing backs can go and get an attack in on the outside, rather than having them on support and the inside forwards on attack. We've hopefully tried to make it a little bit more defensive, so these two can sit in, but these two can be very big options out wide for us as well. Very, very exciting. A lot of good players here on the bench as well. Again, this season we are predicted in the Serie A to come down in 14th place, but hopefully we can again prove people wrong. Last season we come 10th after being 16th. This season 8th would be nice, just outside Europe. I think it's still maybe a year too early for even the Conference League, but we shall see. Can we win all 3 European trophies here as well? Conference League, Europa League, and their first ever Champions League. You'll have to wait and see. Let's get into Season 3. And well, this season was maybe going to be a bit more of a reality check. 3 wins, 2 losses, and a draw to start this season, including being absolutely battered by AS Roma before losing 4-1 to Inter Milan, drawing to Juventus, beating Cagliari, and losing to Udinese. Maybe this season was going to be a bit more difficult. Or maybe not. A 2-1 victory against Napoli, 4-1 against Sassuolo, 3-0 against Fiorentina, and 2-1 against Lazio shows that this season we can hang with the big boys. Draws against Genoa and AC Milan for a loss to Torino, but a victory at Empoli meant the first half of the season was absolutely brilliant. And it's time to show you some highlights as well, because Johan Bonny was absolutely fantastic in the first half of the season. But sadly, he left the club and joined Chelsea. We're going to miss his goals, a whole host. He left for £17 million, but he was absolutely fantastic. And you see the goals he is scoring. Sadly, he's gone. But, you know, we'll all love and respect Johan Bonny. And well, January started well. Draws against Bologna and Salento, but victories against Atalanta and Salernitana. A loss to Cremonese. February, we now didn't have our superstar striker. We still beat Inter Milan 1-0 and Sampdoria 2-1 in the middle of a Roma sandwich, losing 3-2 there. And then an unwinnable March, losing to Juventus, drawing 1-0 against Cagliari, Udinese and Napoli, meant we had a big fight in our hands if we were to get in to the European places. Well, a win against Sassuolo, a win against Fiorentina, a 3-0 victory over Lazio, a 3-0 draw against Genoa, 0-0 against AC Milan, a 1-0 loss to Torino before finishing the season strong, a 2-0 victory over Empoli, a 4-2 battering over Bologna. Have we done it? As we check out the Serie A table, you can see we are finished in 6th place. We are above AS Roma. We're not even in the Europa Conference League. We've taken a step up. We are over that one. And it's Europa League football for Parma next season. Season 4. Now I have to say, Johan Bonny left us in January with 18 goals. And he finished 2nd in the Serie A top scorers list. He is very, very good. If you guys are doing a save, make sure to pick him up. A 7.28 average rating. He has left to go and join Chelsea, but what a player he has been, and a fantastic signing for us as well. Someone to certainly touch on as a free transfer, Tommy Doyle. 14 assists, 7 goals. He's now got a value of £61 million and is wanted by Al Ahly. We might not be able to, keep hold of him for more than one season, but what a player he has, and he could revolutionise this whole Parma side. Jesus Vasquez as well for £5.5 million is someone we're certainly going to bring up. 13 assists and a goal, 7.17 average rating, a bargain for £5.5 million at the end of this season. I'm very happy with how this season has gone. Again, we're an entertaining team to watch. 3rd place in goals scored now with 69 goals. AC Milan still just dominating and not conceded very many, but this season, neither did we. 48 goals conceded overall. Nearly everything here is AC Milan other than tackles won, which is Bologna. And AC Milan don't need to do that because they constantly have the ball with 60% possession and just dominate everything. So this season, well, this rebuild, Milan are going to be the team to beat. As we do look through the goals this season, it does look light, and that's because obviously our superstar striker left half through the season. But Nanasi filled the gap with 13 goals, as did Juan Safosa with 11. Tommy Doyle, obviously absolutely brilliant. Simon Som, a value of £33 million now as well, is the 2nd most behind Tommy Doyle. And brand new signing Marco Stamanic from New Zealand is a fantastic signing. He cost us £3.7 million. He now has a value of 24 million after 31 games. Looks brilliant. Benjamin Dominguez, 19 million. Alessandro Shikati is someone that I really want to try and keep hold of for the whole of this rebuild. He's currently got no interest in him, but I know how good this guy can become on FM, and we're seeing it right now as well. 22 years of age, 19 caps for Australia. Pretty cool that we've got an Australian in centre back and Stamnic and a New Zealand man in CDM as well. But let's get into it. We have got lots more money this season, £9 million and £32,000 in wage budget. Obviously, we've been robbed by 17 million of Johan Bonny leaving. Classic FM, but we're going to have to see who we can bring in, who we can keep hold of, and what we can do. As well, to touch on the fact that club info screen, I'm constantly asking the board to improve our youth recruitment, our youth facilities, and our training facilities. They're just not doing it very much. We have got quite a lot of money in the bank, £25 million. It has grown a considerable amount from the start of the season, but we haven't gone to Europe yet, which now we finally have, so that should start growing a hell of a lot as well. So excited to see what we can do with this Parma side for season 4. With this season again, we got absolutely robbed. £52 million in outgoings, plus the 17 million of Johan Bonny meant £70 million out. Simon Som has left to Al Ali for £26 million. Tommy Doyle to Al Nassr for £23 million. Lyndon Salahi, our former signing for £1.3 million, has left to Empoli, and that was it in terms of the big side of sales. But a lot of players leaving that we really could have dealt with coming into the side, and we had to go ahead and replace them. But another thing I had to touch on here is the finances wise here at Parma. We have only 30% of transfer revenue being kept, so actually signing players, the money we have sold is going to be very, very difficult, which makes it hard to bring players in. So no one over the price of £10 million this season. First signing is Daniel Castillo from Ecuador in CDM. It is the first player I have been caught out with the non-EU registrations. A slap on the wrist for me, a big apologies. He looks very, very good of 19 determination, very quick and a very good DM, but sadly we're not going to see him for this season and he's going to lose a lot of value, and that is my fault. So a big apologies on that one. Fran Navarro is our brand new striker, signed for £7 million from Braga, where last season he scored 14 goals in 29 games and looks absolutely brilliant. Great finishing, composure, acceleration and pace, and hopefully can come in and replace Johan Bonny. He's not young like Bonny, but he is a goal scorer at just 28 years of age. He still has 3 or 4 years in him as well, and he's consistent and likes big matches. Tomas Bakovic was our next signing, a young Croatian CDM who was dominating over at Dynamo last season. He isn't very consistent, but he does have great passing, vision and natural fitness, so as a nice little deep playmaker, he can be absolutely brilliant. I'm excited to bring him in for just £5.5 million. £2.9 million, we've brought in Matthias Szczepaniak from Poland. He has got 2 caps already and has a value of £5 million. Signed for just £3 million. He again could be brilliant. Great pace, great dribbling. Hopefully can turn into something very, very good for us. Roberto Alvarado, another one I got stung with the non-EU rules after this season. I sort of realised about them. We got stung with this one. He only cost us £650,000, which of course is an absolute bargain, but to be wasted because sadly he won't be used this season. So a big, big shame on that one. Maybe he can help us in Europe. And well, then we decided to get smart with our free signings. Luis Felipe has joined us from Al Ittihad, obviously on a free contract that's being released there. Italian centre-back, consistent, loves big matches, very good on a free signing on £75,000 a week. But of course, he was free. German Valera was our next one, released from Atletico Madrid after having a very good loan spell over at FC Norgesland. Again, a free signing, a Lithuanian international, consistent, loves big matches and looks very, very good. Ben Krishine, another non-EU one, which I made an error with, is a young English left-back, but looks very, very good on a free signing. Ennio Briti is a Albanian centre-back, again, non-EU. I got shafted this season, was a big L from me, but a good Albanian centre-back, 29 years of age, to come in and fill a gap. Eric Ramirez was another one. He's non-EU, but can play because we registered him in time. A Venezuelan signed for, I believe he was free again. He was from Dynamo Kiev. Again, looking absolutely fantastic. And our final one is Pablo Roberto, a Brazilian central midfielder on a free contract, but luckily again was registered in time before the non-EU rules come in. He's been playing over at Caterpillar in Portugal and has been brilliant. Left his contract over there, and I'm very glad he has as well, because he is absolutely fantastic as a DM or central midfielder. We are still using the same 4-3 4-3 system. Siccardi, Felipe, Bajrami at centre-back, Vazquez, Koulibaly as the wing-back, Stamenic and Paulo Roberto in DM, Sforza, Cyril Sivertson and Franco Navarro as our striker. Season 4, I think we can make big strides now. We're in the Europa League, we're in the Serie A and the Italian Cup. It's time to lift our first trophy. Well, could this be the year we lifted the Serie A for the first time? An unbeaten August of victories over Udinese and Bologna, followed by 2 wins and just 1 loss in September, when we were sitting pretty in the top 4 in the league and a challenger for the title. We then lost to Lazio, Inter Milan, but beat Juventus and then lost to Napoli before another unbeaten spell. Victories against Como and Brianza, a draw against Empoli, followed by a winning streak in December, 4 in a row, beating Sampdoria, Salento, Roma and Torino. And Fran Navarro had settled into Parma like a duck to water. A fantastic signing to start the season, and he really has been influential in making this European push a possibility. But January, things got a bit too much. A win, a draw, followed by 3 losses, including a ding-dong battle, a 5-4 loss to Bologna at the very end of January, followed by back-to-back 1-0 victories after we shored up that awful defence from that game against Spezia and Salernitana, drawing against Cremonese, losing to Como, Lazio, Juventus, and then a 6-1 loss to Inter Milan. We'll get into what happened in February in just a minute's time. We did end up beating Napoli 3-1, followed by 3 wins in a row against Brianza, Empoli, Sampdoria, losing to Salento, beating Roma, beating Torino, losing to Milan, drawing to Fiorentina. Now, there was a big spike in that season at some point where we're going through the February months because of the Europa League, where we look at the dates and we go through the Europa League phase. We started off awfully, losing to Vienna, losing to Spurs, drawing to Benfica, beating Slavia Prague, losing to Elfsberg, beating Trabzonspor, drawing to Porto and Bodo Glimt, and we weren't going to be in the round of 16 to kick things off. We had to go through that knockoff playout run. We played up against Adana Demirspor, a team that I did not expect to give us such an issue, but 4 minutes in, we get off to a good start. Siccardi goes ahead and scores, but Adana Demirspor, after the first half whistle had gone, Yavu scores the front post to make it 1-1 to get the game tied up, and this was at home as well. So luckily for us, another corner, a 2-1 from Ramirez scores, makes us leaders going away from home against Adana Demirspor. Not the greatest first leg. We had to do bits away in Turkey. And well, luckily we got off to a very good start. Vazquez down the left-hand side found Valeria, the new Lithuanian winger, who found Oskar Sivertson in the middle in just 5 minutes to make it 1-0. And lucky for us, we made it 4-1 on aggregate. Sforza down the right-hand side cuts it back to the back stick to Valeria to make it 2-0 in this game, 4-1 on aggregate. But Adana Demirspor were not done there. But for them, it was too little, too late. A ball all the way over the top, making it 4-2 for Ali Yavuz to go ahead and score. But overall, we were dominant. They were much harder than I expected, but we were through to the round of 16. We faced up against Tottenham. At home, it was just a 1-goal affair, and lucky for us, it was us, our brand new CDM, Stamenic, the signing from Severnia Savestia, scored an absolute screamer to make us 1-0 leaders heading into the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where Spurs showed their quality. You look through the team, the likes of Richarlison, Heung-min Son, Mickey van der Ven, it was always going to be difficult. And in 32 minutes, Heung-min Son scores to make it 1-0, and a bit of a mistake at the back here. High press from Mateta Sarr finds Son, who finds Richarlison to make it 2-0 in the 70th minute. And sadly, we do lose to Tottenham Hotspur, but 2-1 loss in aggregate against a top-tier Premier League side. I was very, very impressed, which does, bode well for us. We're not going to be one of them teams fighting in the Europa League and not going to do very well, because in fact next season we're in the Champions League. 65 points. We have scraped through the skin of our teeth. 2 points less. We're in the Conference League with Napoli. But no, Champions League football for Parma next season. Is it too early? Probably yes. We just got round of 16 in the Europa League. We didn't have the greatest of seasons. Only 65 points, well off the likes of Inter Milan, AC Milan and Juventus. But it does not matter. Champions League football comes to Parma for season number 5. And I'm very, very excited to be there as well. Our stand-up performers this season, goals are coming from Van Navarro and Oskar Sivertson. But our best player throughout the whole season was Marko Stamenic. Again, 4 goals, 5 assists, 44 games. This guy is an absolute superstar. And remember, £3.7 million is all we paid for him. He is now wanted by Al Hilal and Al Nassr. He has got a £36 million value. if we do sell him, it's a fantastic piece of business from us. We have done very, very well. Let's get into the next season. We have £17 million in terms of finances. Hopefully, we can spend it wisely. And there was free sales this season, but luckily for us, Staminic was not one. Arnel Comas has left to Villarreal for £23 million. Paulo Roberto to La Liga for 16, and Fran Navarro for £14 million. Meant we needed a brand new CDM, a brand new centre-back, and a brand new striker. And we spent £35 million. And number one was a signing from Lazio in William Clem, a fantastic wonder kid DM who normally starts over at Copenhagen, has made the move to Italy, but now comes to Parma to play Champions League football for £14.5 million. Ukrainian striker Matiev Ponomarenko has signed from Dynamo Kiev for £12.25 million. Again, looks absolutely brilliant, as well as Anders Harvit Rist from ODD, £3.5 million for a great young backup striker. He looks absolutely fantastic, and again, so cheap, very good consistency, loves big matches, an absolute bargain, and someone I've never seen before, so I'm excited to see what Anders can go ahead and do. Lucas Bergval's brother, Theo Bergval, signed from Djurgårdens, where Lucas Bergval starts his career. He is a right wing back who looks absolutely fantastic, very good going forward, very good defensively, and cost us just £2.1 million for two free signings. Number one, a 30-year-old centre-back signed on a free contract from Brøndby is Jakob Rasmussen. He is a 30-year-old Danish centre-back. He looks absolutely brilliant, and it's free and looks so good, so consistent, loves big matches as well. And finally, it's Milot Rashica, 31 years of age, a free signing from Besiktas. Now, yes, these two players are a little bit older, but we are being stung by the fact we are only able to get 30% of our transfers. It makes it very, very difficult because anything we do sell, we try and reinvest at a cheaper rate using the Moneyball approach, but it's just becoming very, very difficult because the money we are getting, £10 million, we get £3 million of it. It's so difficult, but hopefully we can keep asking, and hopefully one day then increase it to maybe at least 50%, hopefully. And we are looking at a good team this season. Tarati in goal, Shakati, Felipe, Bajrami as the back three, Bergval right wing back, Vasquez left wing back, Clem and Staminic in DM, with Rashica, Vukovic and Ponomarenko as our front line. This season, Champions League. I'm not expecting to win it. Do not get it twisted, but I would like to go ahead and get out of the league phase, and in the league I would like to qualify again just for the Europa League. I think the Champions League is a step too far for now. Europa League I'll be happy with, and get out of the league phase in the Champions League. And well, because this save does revolve around the Champions League, that is where we're going to start things off. Now we are here, and a victory against RB Salzburg, a 3-0 win, drawing to Besiktas, losing to Liverpool, but beating Borussia Dortmund 3-0, beating Anderlecht 2-1, a draw against Rennes, a loss to PSG, a victory over Villarreal meant we, in the league phase, managed to finish in 19th place, and we did get through the league phase, which I am very, very happy about. But sadly for us, that is where things ended. In the knockout playoff round, we played up against Borussia Dortmund. We lost 2-1 in the first leg at home. Goals from Ilkay Gundogan and Giovanni Reina. For us, it was Anders Harvit Riest who scored, but again, the 2-0 away from home, we got absolutely battered. They were too good for us. We couldn't compete with the German giants, with Lincoln and Can Bojden going ahead and scoring. But like I said, very happy. The Champions League, I just wanted to get out of the league phase, and that is exactly what we done. And as well, I've not really touched the Italian Cup too much this season. Again, knocked out in the quarter-final. Exactly the same happened last season as well. It's shocking. We are winning one game, we are losing the second. It's happened now 3 seasons in a row, I think. So apology to not mentioning that, but we're rubbish in the Italian Cup. It is something I want to win, however, as is the Serie A. And could this season be the season? Well, again, an unbeaten August. Victories over Sampdoria and Torino, drawing to AC Milan before losing to Fiorentina 3-1 to start September. And then a nice little 5-game streak with 3 wins and 2 draws. Losing to Genoa, beating Inter Milan, losing to Juventus, beating Udinese. We are topsy-turvy. Wins, losses, wins, losses. It seems to happen quite a lot in these videos. A draw against Atalanta, a loss to Frosinone, and then beating Napoli. Make it make sense. I can't. We then lose to Salento. We seem to beat the big boys, lose the little teams. I don't know what's going on. We then beat Empoli in the end of December, and a very good first half of the season. And it was that man Anders Harvit Riest, which was a absolute superstar to start this season off. Remember, he was just £3.5 million, and he has been absolutely fantastic, scoring some screamers along the way as well. He couldn't help us too much in January, however, when we drew to Lazio and Milan, lost to Sampdoria and Torino, but then we got on to some goal-scoring form, beating Torino Torino and Bologna, drawing to Cremonese, beating Sassuolo, Brianza, losing to Roma, and then a fantastic little run here, beating Genoa, Inter Milan, Juventus, Udinese, Atalanta, Frosinone, back-to-back losses against Napoli and Salento, but beating Empoli and Lazio. How do you think we done in the season this season? Last season, 65 points, 4th place. This season, 68 points, 4th place again. A 22 goal difference, much better than last season's 4, and we are a actual Champions League side. Back-to-back seasons qualifying for the Champions League. I didn't think it would happen this early either, but it has, and we've done a fantastic job. And it is down to that man, Harvard Reese. 19 goals this season. Nelson Viper, 34. He is smashing it over at Lecce, but for us, it is all about this man. He has been absolutely fantastic, and we would not be here without him. In terms of goals, 67 goals this season, in 4th place. In terms of conceded, 45 conceded, just in 5th place. So we are actually deserving to be where we are. We are scoring goals, we aren't conceding them, and we are playing so well. In terms of goal scorers this season, other than Reese, Roberto Alvarado finally got the whole non-EU issue sorted, and he was very good this season, 10 goals and 7 assists, as was German Varela, 9 goals and 4 assists. This guy was a free agent signing, and he was brilliant. Oscar Sirius, as of the club, he's gone out on loan, and he'll be leaving for £2.7 million. Juan Saforza, 11 assists. Our first signing has been brilliant for us. Jesus Vasquez, 13 assists, still absolutely bagging him in. Clem with 4 assists and 3 goals, above a 7 average rating, a great signing. And Staminic again hitting the 7 and being so consistent. And someone else to touch on as well, we signed this guy for £800,000 from Benfica. Arian Bajrami, the Albanian centre-back, has been absolutely ridiculous and has a value of £47 million. I cannot recommend this guy enough. He starts at Benfica, £400,000 is all it took for us to get him. A 6.87, a 6.96, a 7.1. He has been absolutely fantastic. But now we're looking to make that next step back to qualifications for the Champions League, getting on a league phase in the Champions League. It's now time to see if we can make the quarterfinals of the Champions League, maybe the semis, and maybe lift our Serie A trophy. £21 million is all we've got to spend, plus £42,000 in wage budget, and of course that 30% transfer revenue makes it even more difficult. So let's get into season 6, where we got absolutely poached. £171 million out, and on the 8th of August. This has taken me a long time to get through this transfer window, so make sure to like the video and subscribe. We have sold Stefano Terrati to Real Madrid for £45 million. Jesus Vasquez to Atletico Madrid for £42 million. Adrian Bajrami to Barcelona for £37 million. Luis Felipe to Al Qasadiya for 20.5. Matija Pomerenko to Al Qasadiya for £20 million. Milo Rashica to Al Shabab for £11 million. Juan Saforza to Al Faye for £10 million. Roberto Alvarado to Al Khalij, £5 million. And Daniel Castillo to Al Fire, £4.6 million. And finally, the two last ones, Will Koulibaly has left to Copenhagen for 3.3, and German Varela has left to Sassuolo for £3 million. So £170 million out. We have increased our transfer revenue to 50%, so we have spent just under £100 million overall. It is a big summer of incomings and outgoings, but it had to be done to keep the squad trying to qualify for the Champions League. Frederick Ruter is signing number 1 from FC Utrecht, £24 million, very expensive, but 21 years of age with fantastic potential. Again, this guy is a real player as well. I'm trying to keep it, so I'm not just signing regens and signing some very good real life young wonder kids that you guys can go ahead and sign. So he looks absolutely brilliant. George Ilkahenia suits that bill as well. A French striker with fantastic finishing, composure and pace, was on my wonder kids list and has been smashing it over at Antwerp in Belgium. Back-to-back seasons of positive 15 goals. Hopefully he can be great for us as well. So welcome in George up front. Tarek Buchanan was a bit of a panic signing as a brand new centre-back. He cost us £17 million from Bayern Munich. He's been doing well over in the second team over there. Tiro Malacia has been signed from Genoa for £11.5 million. A fantastic, now 28-year-old left-back, but a very good attacking left-back who hopefully can be great for us. A brand new keeper, because obviously Terrati has left, is Christos Mandas. £6.5 million from Empoli, a 26-year-old who has been very good over there as well. Klaus Højlund, not Rasmus, not Emil, not the other one as well. Klaus has come in, a regen for £5 million, signed from Randers. He looks very, very good. Ismail Kabia has been signed from Groningen for £4.9 million. He looks very, very good. You can tell we're running out of money big time. Christian Husgeff has joined the club from Bodo Glimt. £4.9 million. He is a regen, but I couldn't not. So cheap and so good. I'm excited to see what he can do. Fernando Popovic from Hajduk Split, again, is a regen, but so good and so cheap. Just £4 million. An absolute bargain at 20 years of age. Aaron Kili Olsen, a 27-year-old Norwegian backup centre-back, has also joined the club for £2.5 million. And the final one is another backup centre-back, Hugo Correa Rocha, Belgium centre-back, very, very quick, which is lovely to see, and he looks absolutely brilliant. And it means for this season, the team looks completely different, but it also allows us to move away from the 5-back and now use a 4-2-3-1 system. So Mandas in goal, Bergvall, Shakati, Buchanan, Malacia, Bakovic and Clem in DM, Husgeff, Popovic and Vukalovic as our front three, with Ilkenia up front. The team has completely changed to last season, so I'm expecting this season to probably drop out the Champions League places because there is a lot of new players to come in and gel, and that is not always a good thing on FM, but with the Moneyball thing, we have to sell them at a certain value, and they have all left the club. So new signings are in. Can they gel? Let's get into season 6. And again, this season, we will start off with the Champions League, where, ladies and gentlemen, back-to-back 3-0 wins. One against Salzburg, one against Manchester City. Aren't things looking good? Until we lose 4-0 to Villarreal, draw to Braga, lose 4-0 to Real Madrid. Things weren't looking so good. We then beat Feyenoord 2-0, beat Slavia Zvezda 4-1, and lost to Galatasaray 2-1. Meaning we finished just outside of that league phase. 8 games, 4 wins, and 3 losses. That win would have got us, to be fair, only up to 10th and stood outside of it, which meant we had to go through the knockout playoff round, where last season we struggled against Borussia Dortmund. This season we were up against Xabi Alonso's Bayer Leverkusen. And well, the first goal came in just 1 minute. Tapsoba, I don't know what he's doing, but he completely misses the keeper and scores an own goal. Thank you very much, son. That will help us out a hell of a lot. Some great build-up play down the left-hand side. Malacia is going to fire one into the near post to make it 2-0. And this is away from home as well. And George Ilkahania, the brand new striker, finds Tarek Buchanan to make it 3-0 in 82 minutes. And just a minute later, Bayer Leverkusen are finally going to get back at us. A surely aging Xhaka finds Carboni, and he makes it 3-1 by a convincing lead to take home to the Parma Stadium. But George Ilkahania is going to absolutely dominate. He gets goal number 1 in this CF. Of Hosgeff finds Pasani, he crosses it in, and Ilkenia is there to make it 1-0 before Rasmussen finds Kabia, finds Malacia, who finds Kabia on a great reverse pass and makes it 2-0 in 31 minutes. 5-1 on aggregate before Tapsoba makes up for that own goal, making it 5-2. Well, guess what, Tapsoba? You give us a goal after 30 seconds of the first leg helped very much, and we are through to the round of 16, where we face up against European giants Barcelona. And well, George Elkahania is that guy. An awful mistake from Lamine Yamal puts through Elkahania, and we are being lucked out until we go ahead and get absolutely battered by Barcelona. Away from home, we are at home. So Ansu Fati makes it 1-1. Noah Darvic, one of the best wonder kids on the game, drives to the right hand side. He can't be stopped. He finds Frankie de Jong, who's also quite good. He makes it 2-1. And then a corner ball from Lamine Yamal finds Chadi Raddi, and he makes it 3-1. That Barcelona team is very, very cool, but they have smashed us, and we now have to go away to the new camp with a 2-goal deficit. And well, another Barcelona Youth Academy player in Xavi Espert is going to go ahead and make things 1-0 here at the new camp in just 6 minutes. But we are going to get a goal back. Turf is going to find Passini. He's going to find a ball down the line to Hogchef, and the fantastic regen from Bodo Glimt does score to make it 1-0, a 4-2 loss on aggregate, but a nice little bit of progression from last season. Back into the round of 16, drawing against Barcelona. That Champions League trophy is getting ever closer. To touch on the Italian Cup, again, absolutely rubbish. Third round by Como on penalties. And well, the league this season started in a topsy-turvy way. Draws against Milan and Torino, beating Atalanta, but losing to Fiorentina meant things were certainly off to a shaky start. September, victories against Napoli, Frosinone, Salento, beating Moderna at the start of October before losing to Sampdoria, Lazio, drawing to Inter, beating Juve, drawing to Cremonese and beating Brianza this season really was ups and downs non-stop. We went on a good run in December, beating Hellas Verona and Como back-to-back games, scoring 4 goals before losing to Sassuolo and Genoa. 1-1 draws and 2-1 losses, and a 2-1 victory over Roma meant the first half of the season was in the books, and it was certainly more difficult than the last couple. Obviously, with a high turnover of players, that is expected, and it sort of is what it is. We have to go on and deal with it. January, we started to gel a bit more. A victory over Torino and AC Milan, losing to Atlanta, but beating Fiorentina for an unbeaten February. Sadly, with 3 draws, Napoli, Frosinone and Moderna beating Salento 5-0. Them goals could have been spread out a little bit more against Salento. We could have won every single game. We then beat Sampdoria 3-1 before losing to Lazio, Inter Milan and Juventus, beating Cremonese, losing to Brianza, and unbeaten to finish the season. Victories against Hellas Verona, Como, Genoa, Roma, draw to Sassuolo meant we actually did keep that 68-point tally from last season, but we dropped down to 6th place, which I'm not unhappy about, because the Europa League for me is a realistic competition to go ahead and win, especially now in season number 7. I feel like we have been absolutely picked apart twice in this rebuild and had to completely rebuild the club twice, but now we're in 6th place. I feel like this is a good foundation. Europa League next season, get our first trophy under our belt, and in season 8 go for it all. That is the plan. A very good season this season with us still. Goals scored, 5th place, 68 goals. Goal conceded, 43. Even though there was a high turnover in players, we still managed to do very, very well. Lots of goals coming from Reist. Again, 18 goals from him. He was number 1 ahead of George Ilkahania. Surprisingly, given the highlights we've watched, Reist was still the number 1. Kabia, 13 goals and 7 assists. He was an absolute bargain at £3 million. Frane Popovic, 8 and 8. Malacia, 12 assists. Fantastic. Stamnic, still above a 7. Still an absolute demon. 5 goals, 5 assists, 36 games. Now a £56 million value. I'm so glad he's still here. He's an absolute superstar. I mean, this season we have got more money in the bank. £43 million, £150,000 in wage budget as well. And the finances screen is looking great. Like I said, now 50% transfer revenue, out to £100 million in the bank as well. Sadly, club info wise, they're just not improving anything. I'm asking every single season. They're just not doing it, which makes it incredibly difficult. But let's get into season 7. Well, with this season being a massive one, we were looking to lift a couple of trophies. I thought signings wise, we'll go for it this year. We'll have that season where we really make that next step. So we only sold 3 players. Veliko Vulkovic left to Hoffenheim, Ben Krishane left to Sassuolo, and Hugo Correa Rocha left to Union St Gilbert, and that was all we sold. It brought in £13 million of players. We didn't go crazy, just a few players to take the team to the next level. And number 1 was a Brazilian wonder kid superstar who has now developed into a very good central attack midfielder. It is Esteval, signed from Palmeiras. He is currently set as a good Serie A player, could become a leading Serie A player, and he is absolutely fantastic and seems to have developed really well. Obviously, when you start the game, he is incredibly young and doesn't play for a long old time, but now he has developed well. Last season, 10 goals, 7.25 average rating. I'm looking forward to Esteval becoming a Parma superstar, as is Nazar Voloshin, the Ukrainian left winger from Dynamo Kiev. Also looks absolutely fantastic. Great pace, flair, anticipation and dribbling, and again makes that next big step for us, rather than using someone like a £1 million signing, going up to a £10 million signing, who can certainly come in and do a big bit of business out on that left hand side. He looks absolutely brilliant. £2.6 million has been spent on a backup DM in Johan Bake. He is 25 years of age, signed from Mulder. He looks very good, very well rounded, consistent, loves big matches, great as a backup midfielder for us. Lovre Lunshaw has come in, a backup right winger, great determination, agility, dribbling and technique, and this guy cost us just £1.5 million. Last season got 3 goals, 2 assists and a 7.10 average rating, and I'm very excited to see what Lovre Lunshaw can turn into. And our final signing for £1 million was a brand new right back actually to come in. He is incredibly consistent. It's Michael Kostka. This guy looks very good. 224 games in the men's game at Miedz in Poland. He's got fantastic physical stats, great crossing, decent enough defending as well, and is also very determined and was so cheap, is very consistent. I'm excited to see what we can get out of Michael. I think he can become our superstar right back and overtake Bergvall as that right back. In goal is Mandas. Kotska does start a right back for us with Shikati and Tarek Buchanan. Malacia at left back, Staminic and William Clem in CDO, with Hugjev, Esteval, Voloshin and George Ilkenia as the strikers. Our backups, incredibly strong. Martin Turk, Bergvall, Ginter, Reuter, Rasmussen, Klaus Højlund, Bakovic, Bakke, Lonchar, Popovic, Kabia, and Harvit Riester. So 2 fantastic strikers here at the club. In terms of the Serie A and the season preview, we are predicted to come 9th, so we are slowly rising up that table. But as we know, the last couple of seasons have been fantastic. This one, we are looking to win the Europa League. That is my goal. There is no reason we can't do it. So let's get into season 7. Wow is all I've got to say for this season. A 3-1 victory against Fiorentina and a 3-0 against Napoli to kick things off, followed by 5 back-to-back victories in September, making it 7 in a row against Bologna, Salento, Empoli, Roma and Genoa. Yes, we did not win in October, losing to Milan, drawing to Juventus, losing to Atalanta, and November was topsy-turvy, beating Cremonese, drawing to Sassuolo, drawing to Spezia, and losing Sassuolo, but beating Brianza, Frosinone, Lazio, Sampdoria, and drawing to Inter Milan when we were fighting for the league this season. And it was last year's signing, Frano Popovic, who made a massive stride this season as our starting central attacking midfielder. He was absolutely influential in that 7-game scoring, winning streak at the start of the season. He was absolutely brilliant. And he carried on that form in January as well. A 5-2 victory over Torino and doing the double over Napoli with a 2-0 victory. We did lose 3 in a row against Fiorentina, Bologna and Salento, but if I told you there was only 1 loss for the rest of the season. We then went on to beat Empoli, Roma, Genoa, Milan, all in a row, drawing to Juventus, beat Atalanta, Cremonese, Spezia, Sassuolo, Brianza, drawing to Frosinone, beating Lazio, losing 2-1 to Sampdoria, beating Inter Milan and beating Torino. A simply fantastic season, and this was the season George Ilkahenia took a massive stride as well. So we had 2 absolute superstar strikers in Ilkahenia and Riester, and our superstar cam in Popovic. Did it mean we won the Serie A? Well, first of all, to go through the Italian Cup, and guess what? We didn't get knocked out in the first round for the first time ever. Yes, we got knocked out to Juventus in the semi-finals, losing 5-2 in the first game, and then drawing 2-0 in the second game, but we actually didn't get knocked out in the third round. So maybe season 8, because obviously the rebuild cannot end here in season 7, maybe season 8 we lift the Italian Cup. We have actually done well this season in the Italian Cup. We aren't just the worst team in the world in it. And as for the Europa League as well, we were simply fantastic. We won every single game in the league phase. 5-0 against Bodo Glimt, 4-1 against Real San Sebastian, 2-1 against Club Brugge, 9-0 against Trnavia, 1-0 against Rennes, 2-1 against Tottenham, 3-0 against Cervania Svezia, 3-0 against Casapia. Going into the round of 16, we beat Nordjylland 3-2, beat them 2-1. Quarterfinals, we faced up against Eintracht Frankfurt, beat them 2-1 and beat them 3-0. And we got to the semi-finals and Chelsea stood in our way. And away from home at Stamford Bridge, we got off to a simply fantastic start. In just 5 minutes, Malacia found Hugchef and he blasted it past Erkan to make it 1-0 to Parma. For Chelsea come back just 10 minutes later, Caicedo to Enzo to Chilwell to Lil Abida, and he made it 1-1. And that was all she wrote here at Stamford Bridge, and we had to take it back to the Tardini. And Hugchef found a great ball over to Ajmir Kibia to find Stamnic, who finds the ball into the box to that superstar cam in Popovic to make it 1-0 in just 3 minutes. And just 10 minutes later, within 15 minutes, we were 2 goals up. Kabia on the edge of the box takes a great touch and finishes it past Erkan, and we have taken the lead in this tie, 3-1 on aggregate. Enzo and Abida linking up down the right hand side. He found Mikhailo Mudryk to make it 3-2 on aggregate, and then we had a goal of our own. Tariq Buchanan to Hugchef into Esteval, a ball through to George. He puts it past the keeper to make it 4-2 on aggregate, and we were looking absolutely fantastic. Caicedo found Enzo found Nick Jackson. He bobs on the line and he makes it 4-3. Just 1 goal in it, or could we make it a 2-goal lead? Esteval found Malacia found Stamanic, he found William Clem, he found George, and George, in the absolute demon that he was, made it 4-2, 5-3 on aggregate, and we were through to the Europa League final. And it was Spurs that stood in our way, the team we beat in the league phase. And I have to mention something from the very off. Our goalkeeper got injured in 7 minutes in a final, so James Madison put them 1-0 up before they go 2-0 up thanks to an own goal from Tariq Buchanan. Can you believe it? Our goalkeeper gets injured in the 7th minute and an own goal is what puts us down. We are going to get a goal back. Shikati down the right-hand side whips the ball into George at the back stick and makes it 2-1. But that is it. We lost the Europa League final, and I fully believe it's because Christos Mandos was injured in the 7th minute, and it was a disgusting challenge as well. I imagine it was Madison, and he two-footed him, and that's how they won it. And I'm absolutely fuming because we should have won the Europa League this season, but we got done over by our goalkeeper being injured. But we were simply brilliant this season in the Europa League, in the Italian Cup, getting to the semi-final, and in the league, we ended up winning the whole thing. 83 points. It's not the most points we've ever seen anyone win the Serie A by, but 1 point clear of Fiorentina, and the rest of them just fell off massively. Milan 76, Juve 75, Inter 74. We are winners of the Italian Serie A. Absolutely fantastic. I'm buzzing to finally tick that off the list. Obviously, we've got a whole other season to go into as we need to try and win the Champions League. So there could be another 2 or 3 seasons, but hopefully we can get it done nicely quick. I think this season we have showed we are good enough over a whole season to play lots of games like the Europa League does make you play. We're obviously good enough to go ahead and win at the Italian League, and we've seen the team like Inter Milan last season dominate the Italian League, get to the final of the Champions League and lose to Man City. Hopefully we can take it one step further. We've got a little bit of money this season to play with, £35 million. Finances wise, £57 million. It's gone down a little bit because of that season out of the Champions League, but I'm sure that will fly back up. So let's get into season 8. Just one man was poached from us this season, and it is Ismail Kabaya. He left for £11.5 million to go and join Damac. He was actually a fantastic signing for 4.9 million, scored 17 goals and got 15 assists in 2 seasons. Both seasons around the 7 average rating as well. An absolute bargain on your saves. If you haven't ever heard of him, neither had I until we've done this, and he is absolutely brilliant. But our first signing was an absolute bargain at 8.5 million. Justin Dale has come in from Atletico Pamplona. He is extremely consistent. He loves big matches. That unbelievable dribbling, agility, determination, and flair. Him and Volyashin sharing that left wing position is going to be absolutely fantastic. Excited to get him in. Our brand new right back is Antoine Mendy, signed from Real Madrid. This guy starts his career over at OGC Nice, and he looks to have progressed very, very well. Great jump and reach decision making, crossing, dribbling, marking, tackling. Absolutely fantastic. When he has played at Real Madrid, has been fantastic, so should be good enough at the top level. And finally, it's Owen Wolf, the American dream, central defensive midfielder, consistent, likes big matches, very well rounded in every single stat. 25 years of age and starts the career over at Austin, carries on as well, and he looks to progress very well as a backup central defensive midfielder and is our non-EU signing. So we have done a good old job this last couple of seasons of clearing out all the people that are non-EU and getting a whole bunch of EU players in. It has meant the team is more expensive. I'm about to go a little bit, not away from Moneyball, but sort of spend a bit more money on not just getting wonder kids from Argentina because they're £1 million and fantastic. We've had to go and spend, say, £10 million on a wonder kid or a Moneyball signing from Norway, etc. So it makes it a little more difficult and it makes it a little more pricey. But with the Italian rules, it's what we've had to go ahead and do. In goal is Christos Mandas, Mendy, Shikati, Buchanan, and Malacia as the back 5. Tabinic and Clem in front of them, with Hogshev, Esteval, Justin Dale, and Jorg Ilkehelnia up front. And backups Martin Tuk, Bergval, Reuter, Rasmussen, Hoyland, Bakovic, Wolf, Lonchar, Popovic, Volyashin, and Harvington Reese. I am excited for this season. Last season, we won the league and we got very close in the Italian Cup as well. We obviously got to the final of the Europa League. This season, we are predicted to come down in 7th. Do they never learn? We are an overachieving team and we do it every single year. This season, I won that Italian Cup. I want to make a good name for ourselves in the Champions League and I want to go back to back in the Italian Serie A. Remember that 7 in a row from last season? We won every single game to kick the season off. We've done the exact same thing here as well, beating Udinese, Sassuolo, Bologna, Atalanta, Cremonese, Brianza, and AS Roma to make it 7 victories in a row before 2 losses against Fiorentina and Inter Milan, and then another fantastic run of 8 wins in a row. Torino, Salernitana, Salento, Moderna, Sampdoria, a 4-1 win against Napoli, Spezia, and a 3-1 victory against Lazio before losing to Milan 4-1 at the end of December. 3 losses, the rest victories. A fantastic first half of the season. And Justin Dale was a massive part of that first half of the season. What an unbelievable signing for £8.5 million. Has scored some absolute screamers and was an absolute absolute bargain. And when it carried on just being better and better, victories over Udinese and Sassuolo, a draw against Bologna, we beat Atlanta, Fiorentina, Juventus, Brianza and drew to Cremonese in February. March, a draw to Roma, 2 victories against Torino, Salernitana, victories against Salento, Modena, Sampdoria and a loss to Napoli at the end of April before beating Spezia, losing 1-0 to Lazio, beating our title rivals AC Milan 4-0, beating Juventus and beating Inter Milan. A simply fantastic Serie A season. But was it enough to win the Serie A? Well, an unbelievable season, better points tally last season. We've just beat them 4-0, but they've pipped us to the title by 2 points. AC Milan 95 points, us on 93 points. We even absolutely battered them towards the end of the season, but AC Milan, just that 2 points better than us, were fantastic. 3 losses, 5 draws and 30 wins for them. 30 wins for us, 3 draws and 5 losses. We couldn't just convert them losses into draws. Milan, very good title challenges, but us just 2 points away, 93 points. A fantastic season, showing we really have built a dynasty here at Parma. And the Italian Cup was up next in the third round. We beat Napoli, as we always seem to do. The quarterfinals, we beat Atalanta, and it was Juventus to face again in the semi-finals. And it was just the 1 goal in the first leg here at the Tadori. It was Shakati from the edge of the box. A Bicey volley, flying it into the top bins, and we had to go away to the Juventus Stadium, where things started absolutely brilliantly with a Jakub Kivior own goal. Mendy whipped it in, and Kivior just poked it in for the front post. I don't know what he was doing. A fantastic finisher. I think he should be a striker. Before Juventus come back, Kenyan Yildiz find Palacios to find Matthias Soulé, who is a fantastic wonder kid on this game, to find the back of the net, make it 1-1, 2-1 to Parma on aggregate. We are through to the Italian Cup final. Never did I think I'd be saying that after our awful performances this season, but it's AC Milan in our way. We beat them 4-0 in the league. Could we go ahead and beat them in the Italian Cup final? Well, it took us until the 60th minute for anything to happen. A Justin Dale corner finds its way back to him, and he pops it into the top corner in 60 minutes for Volyashin finds Justin Dale yet again. A fantastic ball out wide to William Clem to make it 2-0 in 2 minutes, 2 goals, but we weren't done there. Justin Dale found Mendy on the right hand side. He's going to put it past to find Volyashin, and he makes it 3-0 in 75 minutes, and we fancied back-to-back 4-0s, and actually in terms of the schedule, these games were literally back-to-back. Bakke found Esteval, made it 4-0. Within the space of 3 days, we beat AC Milan 8-0. 4-0 in the Italian Cup final, 4-0 in the league. But of course, they beat us by 2 points in the season to lift the trophy. Absolutely gutted. Next year, we need to make sure to go back for them. That's if we don't win the Champions League. And well, it started like we certainly weren't going to be. We got lost 4-0 to Real San Sebastian. An absolute embarrassment before beating Young Boys 5-0, drawing to Copenhagen and Liverpool 2-2 and 1-1, beating Midtjylland 2-0, beating PAOK 6-0, beating Borussia Dortmund 2-1 and losing to Manchester United 3-0. But in the league phase, we were just outside that automatic round of 16. We had to go through Copenhagen. We beat them 2-1 and 4-0. So we did make it to the round of 16 when we faced up against German giants Bayern Munich. And it took us 75 minutes, but here at the Ennio Tardini, Stamnic found Wolf, who found a great ball through to Volyashin to make it 1-0. And that's the only goal in this game. And we had to go away to the Allianz Arena to see if we could beat Bayern. And of course, they pegged us back to 1-1 pretty much instantly. 15 minutes into the game, Musiala found a great ball to the edge of the box to Stiller, who found the top corner. It was 1-1 with 80 minutes left to play. Could we put our stamp on it, or were they going to run away from us? Well, Theo Bergvall made it 1-1 on this game, 2-1 on aggregate before Volyashin dives down the line, finds Wolf in the middle, who finds William Clem, who finds Esteval. A fantastic team goal there to get us back in front in this tie and making it 3-1 on aggregate, but 3-1 on the night was yet to come. Volyashin finds Esteval. He gets a brace in the 92nd minute, and Bayern Munich are knocked out by the mighty Parma, and we head to the quarterfinals of the Champions League. And this time it was Arsenal. Obviously, we lost to a North London side last season in the Europa League final. Could we beat Arsenal in the quarterfinals of the Champions League? Well, George got us off to a fantastic start in 31 minutes before Arsenal, of course, snapped back. Echeverry finds a great ball out wide left to Martinelli. Great touch, finds Saka, and he makes it 1-1 away at the Emirates. They were going to run away clear, weren't they? Or were they? Or were we going to take a 2-1 victory back to the Tardini? Another fantastic ball there from Wolf to find Esteval, and it was 2-1 at the Emirates, taking it back home. We were favourites. And favourites for a reason as well, because we were simply fantastic. Malacia finds Justin Dale down the left-hand side, and he was a brilliant signing this year. 22 goals overall this season for him, and he puts it into the bottom corner there. Esteval and Malacia linking up again, and Malacia providing the assist once again. The 69th minute, we were 2 goals clear. Saka then on the ball on the right-hand side finds Gabriel Jesus. He gets the ball into the back of the net to make it a 1-goal game yet again, but there was 2 own goals to come. Were they both for us? Were they both for them? Were they shared? Bergvall finds Hugchef. That was an own goal from Gabriel, not Jakub Kivior, but we seem to be getting quite lucky with own goals, but there was one more to come, and it was us. Gabriel batters it into the box, a whole deflection from Hugchef. A 3-2 victory overall, 5-3 on aggregate. We were into the semi-finals of the Champions League. We'd beat Bayern Munich, we'd beat Arsenal, and now it was Real Madrid. And this one was all about the Brazilian wonder kids. It was Esteval versus Endrick, and Justin Dale found Esteval to make it 1-0 in 14 minutes. Before just 4 minutes later, Sanguinete found Jude Bellingham. He finds the ball through to Endrick, and he makes it 1-0 here at the Santiago Bernabeu. And that was it for this game. Simply a 1-0 at the Bernabeu. Again, though, taking a draw back to Tardini. Could we do the same as we did against Arsenal? Well, we're going to go a goal down. Arda Güler down the right-hand side finds a ball into Jude Bellingham, who at this point is the best player to grace the earth, to make it 1-0 to Real Madrid. Volyoshin down the left-hand side finds Malacia. He finds the ball into the back stick to find Esteval, who heads it past Trubin to make it 1-1. We're then going to go down 2-1. Clem on the ball gets poached from Endrick. Vinicius Jr. drives and finds Bellingham. And like I said, best player in the world vibes. Real Madrid had control right until the 96th minute. Esteval finds Volyoshin. Volyoshin finds a ball in the box, and our wonder kid Scaburi through the academy scores for Parma. And in the 121st minute, Buchanan finds Esteval. Esteval finds the back of the net, and Parma are going to the Champions League final. Pure drama. Diego Scaburi in the 96th minute. The Italian wonder kid is a 1-star overall player. He has 9 finishing, 10 composure, but in the 96th minute in a Champions League semi-final, he got us level on points, and we were going through to the Champions League final, all due to this man. And this final took all the way to the 71st minute, where we finally got a goal. Hugchef finds Esteval at the back stick to make it 1-0 in 71 minutes, and we're going to go ahead and make it 2 as well, beating Manchester City. Erling Haaland, what are you doing, pal? George puts it past Guilherme Restes to make it 2-0 in 72 minutes for Haaland from the spot, makes it 2-1 in the 84th, but that was it. Parma are Champions League winners. We didn't win the Europa League last season. We lost in the final due to our goalkeeper being injured. Well, this season, our goalkeeper got an 8.9 in the Champions League final, and we beat Manchester City, meaning the challenge is completed. Parma Champions League winners, ladies and gentlemen. A fantastic end to this rebuild. We obviously won the Serie A last season, second this season. We beat Manchester City in the Champions League final. We won the Italian Cup, and our superstars this season, George Ilgahenia, Justin Dale, Esteval, and Franjo Popovic. Volyoshin with 10 assists as well, and Malacia with 15. It's been an absolute pleasure rebuilding my favourite Italian club in Parma. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you want to see any further Moneyball rebuilds, make sure to subscribe. There's already a playlist down there which you can go ahead and watch. I'll speak to you next time.